House.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. The Honourable Annette King.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Labor supports this bill. It's a very simple bill, a bill that went through the Select Committee relatively easily with collaborative work across all parties represented within the Select Committee. But I do want to make a few comments about it. And the first one is that this is a bill that has taken far too long to get on the legislative agenda, because back straight after the election of 2014, Treasury and the Ministry of Health advised the new Minister, Dr Coleman, to push ahead with this long-awaited bill to remove the barriers to the health workforce flexibility. And in fact, it was one of the 12 recommendations made by Treasury to the Minister, and the Treasury said this: they need to identify and remove unnecessary barriers to workforce flexibility by progressing the health practitioners' replacement of statutory references to the Medical Practitioners Bill, the very bill we are debating tonight. This is back in August 2014. Treasury noted that the bill had been under development for several years and there was frustration at the lack of progress, particularly amongst the nursing profession. In fact, the Nursing Review in their publication first reported in April 2008 on the work of an expert advisory group reviewing the health law to remove such barriers so there could be more innovative practice. And so updating this legislation became a priority for those in the profession, but unfortunately it went on the go slow here in the Parliament. Mr Speaker, we now have over 50,000 nurses in New Zealand registered with the Nursing Council, and we know that there is a looming GP issue in New Zealand, with around 44% of GPs saying they intend to leave the profession over the next 10 years. And so that we really do need to be developing a very flexible health workforce, those with the skills to be able to undertake work and to allow them to become more active with their experience. And this is what this bill does. We do also know that we've got over 3,000 young doctors revealing the extent of their workload, that some of them are reporting 16-hour shifts for 12 days in a row. We have reports of young doctors falling asleep while driving home, and over 1,000 admitting they'd made a mistake affecting patients because they're tired. And so the need for us to pass this bill to allow those who have undertaken the training to be able to use it in a much more comprehensive way is urgent. The first nurse practitioner, now these are nurses who have a very high level of additional training. Well, the first nurse practitioner was graduated in 2001. And since then, we have got many more who have graduated and been waiting to use their experience. And so tonight I'd just like to acknowledge one particular person who has been pushing for this for many years, and that is Judy Kilpatrick, who was the chair of the Nursing Council right through the development of nurse practitioners and getting the first nurse practitioner recognised. And so my complaint, I have to say, if it's a complaint, is the slowness at putting this in place. Knowing the pressures we have on our health workforce, knowing the need to undertake more innovative practice, we needed to have passed this to allow our health workforce to be able to use their skills, as I said. What the Minister went through in some detail exactly what this bill will do, and it is about removing the references to medical practitioners in legislation and allowing other suitably qualified health professionals, like nurses, to perform appropriate tasks, which will allow that flexibility in the workforce, as I said. And there are some good examples of things that they could do when this bill is passed. Participating in claimants' individual rehabilitation plans, issuing certificates of proof of illness or injury for sick leave, arranging medical examinations of children or young people, and taking blood specimens from road users as just some of the things that they would be able to do under this, when this bill is passed. This bill is an omnibus bill. It amends 7 statutes to increase the range of functions that can be performed by health practitioners under those statutes by changing certain references to medical practitioner to health practitioner. Now that will enable us to see far more innovative practice. And I do look forward to the opportunity when we get to the committee stage to ask the Minister questions about others that could be added to the health practitioner. Should they be registered under the HPCA Act? And the first that come to mind are paramedics. Because paramedics are not registered under the Health Professionals Competency Assurance Act, therefore they are not recognised in terms of the bodies that are covered in this bill. And the paramedics have been waiting to have registration under the Act for years, going right back to about 2008. And we have paramedics who undertake very, very skilled procedures on the side of the road, highly skilled people. In fact, some of the procedures they are able to undertake are more skilled than those of a GP, but they are not registered under the Act. And one of the things that I would like to see is that paramedics become registered so they too can be included as health practitioners, because I can see the role of paramedics being very important in a flexible, innovative workforce, providing services not just at the side of the road, but in fact in people's homes and other settings. And they, I think, are a group that desperately need to be included as health practitioners and recognised as health practitioners. I also wonder, and I couldn't see it, but we will hopefully find out with the new Social Security Act rewrite that is taking place now, whether the Social Security Act will be included in this bill. And I've gone through it and I can't see the inclusion. I see child, youth and family, but I don't see a rewrite of the Social Security Act, where nurse practitioners under that Act will be undertaking particular procedures. And so that is another question that I would like to ask of the Minister. So, Mr. Speaker, we do support this bill. We are sorry that it has taken so long. Sorry for those, Mr. Speaker, who have been waiting for its passage. And I sometimes wonder why bills in this House that seem so trivial to many people in the public come before those that could make such a difference in the lives of people, in the operation of our health services, that they get pushed to the back of the queue. And this is one of those bills. Go right back to 2008, and we're 8 years on from that first report that came back then from the Expert Advisory Committee to 2016, where we are now at the second reading of a bill that has taken so long in gestation to get to this stage. And I think we need to look more carefully at some of the bills that we have and the priority that is put on them when we are deciding what should be debated and passed in this House. It might seem a minor thing to those who don't understand the health sector, but it is a major thing if we're going to have innovative, flexible, creative provision of health services, and this bill will help do that. It is said by those who understand, from nurses, for those other health professionals. As the Minister said, there were a few in the medical profession that raised concerns, but I don't think they need to be concerned, and neither did the Health Select Committee. We believe there is enough protection in this bill and within the HPCA around competency and around qualification to ensure the safety of the public. So we do support this bill, and we welcome its hasty speed through this House.
I call Simon O'Connor.